I feel like it just defies the laws of humans. Why does it have to be later? Why can't it be now? So what happened? What's wrong? Why did that happen? I might be schizophrenic, don't know. Oh my god, like such a cool, wonderful person. Like, burn some things on fire and fantasize about her 24/7, and that's the only way I'm gonna get what I want. Move it over a little, or completely destroy it, and just build a new one. To hitting these huge goals every day and then doing that shit over and over again. Like, that's like, we're human. I iron my jeans because they are always so wrinkly when they come out of these freak ass dorm dryers. I feel like my life for the past couple weeks has been kind of crazy, but not in the crazy where it's like someone would be entertained by it. It's like the only thing I've been doing is studying, and I never have a minute to like sit down and do nothing. But this past weekend, that's exactly what I did. I had like 3 midterms within 24 hours. It was so... I don't even know. Like, I'm thinking back, and that was a different person. That was a different animal. Like, I don't really know what's going on. But today we're talking about something a little bit cliche, and I think I've talked about before, but I have some things I want to add on to it, like better ways to say it. Something that I've been kind of doing, like actively in my life right now, and I've seen the results of it, so I really just wanted to talk about it again. Like, the main idea is, like, I feel... there's so many times where we look at someone else and you're like, oh my god, like, I want to be like them, which is that's not even like a bad thing. Like, it's good to have idols and people to look up to, but then there's also, it really goes unsaid, because we do it so subconsciously, where we look at someone and they have something that we want, or they're doing something that we want to be doing, and we subconsciously look at what's different from you and that person, and then you think, okay, like, I need to become like that person. But that's actually harder to do, because it's almost impossible to be like exactly somebody else, because there's so many things that go into being a person, right? It's like genetics and childhood and all the psychological factors. Like, do you have the same brain and childhood and just like psychology as somebody else? You don't. So it's impossible to be like that person. So what's probably going to happen is you, in your body, right, try to be somebody else, and it's just gonna backfire on you, because that like combination, it doesn't work. Like, it's not supposed to work. That's the whole point of being your own like individual person. There's better ways to go about it, which probably will take a long time, right? Because that's the whole point of growth, and it is that it happens over time, but your results will last a lifetime. It won't be something where you try to be like somebody else, you fail, and then you find someone else to latch onto psychologically, and then you fail again, and like, that is, you're trying your whole life to get something that literally just cannot happen. Like, I feel like it just defies the laws of humans. I have, over the past couple weeks, I would say honestly couple months, I've been kind of thinking about this, especially because now that I'm in college, a lot of the work that I do is towards my career and the person that I see myself being in the next decade. I keep in mind 2 things. I know who I want to be. I know what type of woman I want to be when I graduate college and when I get a job, and when I have a significant other. Like, I know what kind of, like, I have a vague understanding of who I want to be. The second thing is, that is always subject to change. I know that the view that I have of myself now, in 10 years or in 5 years, will not be the same person I have in my mind next week, or in 1 month, or the end of the year, or when I graduate. These things change, and so that's what's easy to maneuver through when the only person you're thinking about is yourself. If you think about someone else, you're gonna have to be maneuvering through your own personality and then someone else's personality, which 50% you don't even know. You have to imagine it, because you never know someone 100%, especially when they're your friend. But my point is, there's things that we can do, right, to do this the healthy way, and it's gonna take time, and it's gonna be hard depending on how hard you make it for yourself. I actually find joy in doing this. Through this process, you also come to love and appreciate yourself, which is also something you should be doing. I kind of just think that, like, this process is it just works out. Like, if you really have a good heart and the best intentions, it just works out. It might take time, but it works out. Like, it works out. So genuinely, the first thing I did at the beginning of the semester, and I'm saying that I'm going to refer back to the beginning of the semester a lot because this past winter break was a lot of reflection and like growth. I think for me, I had just been going through so much semester one that when I was finally able to like get the semester over with and go home and have like nothing to do, the only thing I could do was reflect and think. And I have a habit of trying not to do that, especially when I'm really, really busy. And so that month of having nothing to do, I grew a lot. Like I could see that change in my outlook from when I first got home to when I was coming back for the semester. And I'm actually really proud of myself for going through that much growth within like 3 weeks, especially considering what I was going through during semester one. And I feel like it was so funny because I saw myself as a different person, so that made me realize, okay, if I can do that within 1 month, can you imagine what I can do in one semester or by the end of the year? And so I sat down one day, and I didn't do this literally, but when I think back to it, it's kind of what I was doing is I sat down and I'm like, I had this very strong determination that I was going to do very, very well, like academically my second semester, and I have been, and I'm actually very proud of myself. But not even academically, but like things that I was doing for my career, right? I sat down and I was like, okay, the person that wants a career that I want and wants to do things that I want, what would she do? Like this semester within her capabilities, and considering that she's only a freshman, she has this and that and that's, what would she do this semester? And I wrote all of those things down, and then that was the first thing I did. That was very broad. Recommend. Do it. It puts everything down in front of you, like written, and it's like, I feel like it makes a psychological change too, because you can see, like, you have put the goal into words, you have put the action into words. So now this does two things. I think it's like a constant reminder, right? Because you actually wrote it down. The second thing is it almost becomes like, holy shit, I know I'm supposed to do this and I'm not. And for me, it makes me feel guilty. The second I sit down and I'm being lazy when I know I should be doing something, especially after I've written it down and I've like acknowledged that's something I need to do, I'm just like, wait, what the hell? Like, why am I just like, I start bullying myself essentially. And this is the only form of like bullying of myself that I would condone, is because it actually gets me off my ass to do something. And so that's the first thing that I did. The second thing that I did was a little bit more specific, and this is what I did to basically to set my goals academically this semester, was I wrote down everything that I would do in a day. So I kind of created a routine for myself. So no matter what happens, like no matter which area of my life is currently falling apart, this is something that I can come back to and rely on, that'll make me still feel like my life is somewhat together, right? Because I think what mainly was happening to me first semester was something would happen and I would be like just like in pieces and broken, and it was like, wait a minute, I would think back to it and yes, was the struggle real? Of course. But did I have the power to not let it affect me that much in certain points where I needed to be focusing on something else? Yes, but I didn't, because the minute that part of my life felt like it was crumbling, in my head it seemed like everything else was crumbling too, when in reality it wasn't. It was because I didn't have a routine and I didn't have a set thing, like a list of things that I would do every day for myself, whether it was academically or just like for me and like personal care. And I feel like that's so important. So what I did was I wrote all that stuff down. I said, okay, like academically, a library study 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours every day. I don't care what it is. Like it could be in the library, it could be in the lounge of your dorm, it could be in your room by your desk, it could be somewhere. I basically created this routine, right? So that was one of the things that I wrote. Every day you do some type of work. I don't care what it is. It's basically just to keep my brain from not like decaying slowly, because I feel like if there's like 2 to 3 days consecutively where I just don't do anything productive, I will look back on it the day after and be like, holy, like oh shit, what was I doing for 3 days that that produced nothing of value for me? Like, yes, can I have one personal day? Of course. That's what I did this past Sunday, was just sleep all day. But it's like, when I have a goal to reach and I'm paying to be somewhere, it just, kind of make it a priority. So that's one thing I wrote. The second thing I wrote was I will get up no later past 10 o'clock. no later than 10 o'clock. It doesn't matter what's going on. It doesn't matter if I have a class at 2 p.m. and I don't have to be awake at 10 o'clock. You're getting up and you're doing something. I made that rule for myself. And also what ended up happening, which I didn't exactly plan for, was I also started sleeping earlier because I had that rule, right? Wake up at 10 or like no later than 10. And honestly, that even itself is kind of lenient because I feel like I could wake up earlier. But I didn't stick to 10 every day. I would get up, or not would, but I am getting up 9:15 if I slept really late the night before, like 9:30, 9:45-ish. As a result of that, I've been trying to sleep a little bit later if possible. Definitely not up until like 2, 3 in the morning, more like 1, and it's done, like wrap it up, like you're going to sleep. It doesn't matter what you're doing, just figure it out tomorrow morning. It's like built that habit and that routine of like, now I know when I plan my days, like when I plan my week, I know at what time there's like a dead limit. Like there's no going past this. And I feel like this also helped with my, like, how do I say it? Like my integrity, almost. I don't think that's the right word, but it's like when I see something, I'm doing it now. A lot of the times last semester, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna try to sleep early for the next week, fix myself, blah, 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 whatever. Never did it. Like, never actually did it, and then it stuck. But this semester, when I really put my foot down, I don't know why at the beginning of the semester, I was so determined to just get my shit together. I really was like, I don't think there's a single time this semester I got up after like 10. There are exceptions. When I was studying for midterms, I would stay up a little bit later. But I never woke up later because I had so much studying to do. There was exceptions like that where I was lenient on myself, and obviously that is important because life is constantly changing and you never know what can happen. When it's not, and I determine that it's not something that I can break my rules for, don't break the rules, because then once it happens again, it happens once, it happens again, and it happens again, and it happens again, and then all of a sudden you forget that you even have a rule and you go back to your old habits. What worked for me when trying to build this habit was slowly increasing the time that I would wake up at. So first, I used to wake up at 9:45. I woke up at 9:45 for like 3 days. Then it was 9:30. Then it was 9:15. And then now it's 9. That's what I started doing with that. The other thing was start eating better. My skin over winter break was so bad. Oh my God, it was horrible. And so I just started telling myself, okay, like, and actually I did a little bit of reading too. So kind of what debloats, what bloats, things like that. So for example, like sodium bloats. Potassium debloats, so eating bananas. Another thing that debloats, I'm pretty sure, is cucumbers, but just things like that, or like whatever I can find in the dining hall that's just not straight up junk food is what I've been eating recently, and like trying to just like make my plate look like I'm not a humongous person. That's actually made me feel a lot better, because I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but you are what you eat. And so obviously sometimes I don't always listen to myself. Like you can't expect yourself to be perfect, but if you can for a day, just try. Last night I had bulldog ramen, so can't always be perfect. I eat bananas whenever I can. Like, I always bring them back with me from the dining hall. I always have cucumbers when I go to the dining hall. Like, it's just things like that. So, and I've been making sandwiches too at the dining hall. So I know what goes into it because I make the sandwich myself. Those are kind of like the main things that I wrote down. So now I have a routine for myself, right? And the other thing that helped with making my routine was using Google Calendar. Like, my life depends on it. Every either Sunday night or Monday morning, I will write out my plan for the week. Some places I'll leave blank if the plans are still like, not determined, or I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I need to figure it out. I need to think about it a little bit more. But I have a general time of when I'm going to do things. So especially for when I study, every Monday I have to put that in for every day of the week. It doesn't matter, because if I don't do it, then I'm going to be like, do I really have to? Like, no. If it's in the calendar, it's in the calendar and you're doing it. If it needs to be moved, it needs to be like moved to another place in the week, not deleted. That's honestly like the type of person that I see myself becoming, is depending on my calendar a lot. And a specific scene that I see, honestly, and I think what's really fueled this desire to just work really hard, is me telling my assistant, like, or not telling, but asking my assistant in the future, maybe like 10 years, like, hey, what's on my calendar for today? Or like, like calendar, this calendar. now that I use my calendar and someone asks me, oh, can we do this? Not in like a stuck up annoying way, but I always just say, okay, 1 second, let me check my calendar. I don't know if I'm doing anything else. It's just like, wait a minute. That's like, I'm halfway there already of becoming that person. And so that's the things that I'm talking about is like, for the longest time I had that scene in my head, I just never did anything about it because I was like, that's fine. It's like, that's later. But it's like, why does it have to be later? Why can't it be now? Honestly, every time that I lazy around, especially when I have to be doing something, I have like priorities for that day, I just feel so shitty. Like I feel guilty for like ignoring what I need to be doing, and it makes me feel like I make myself feel like a really bad person, get my ass up, and I do what I need to do because it's a really shitty feeling. I don't know if it's because I'm just like that, I'm trying to become that disciplined. I don't know, but it's what's happening to me. So I think it works. If you want something that much, you probably should bully yourself into working for it. Another thing that I did, which is honestly kind of funny, is for my vision board for this year, a lot of the pictures that I chose don't have faces in them. Like, they have people in them, but their faces, like, you can't see their face in the camera. And it's because genuinely, and I might be schizophrenic, don't know, but it's because I literally see myself as those people. I genuinely think that I am those people and like I am doing those things, and then I'm like, oh my god, like I'm such a cool, wonderful person. Like I'm just so amazing. I don't know what it is about doing that. It's kind of like magic. That shit literally, it just ends up happening. Obviously, it's not just like you snap your fingers and you're sitting in that picture, but it's like I will subconsciously be planning ways to be in those situations and then they'll happen. Has everything happened? No. A lot of what's happened is sitting in the library, studying, reading. Yeah. And eating breakfast, honestly, because last semester I didn't eat breakfast a lot. I'm trying to eat breakfast, like a healthy, good breakfast, just so I can eat a little bit more healthy food. That's been happening. Studying has obviously been happening. And so it's just like things like that where I'm like, I genuinely feel like I need to create like this idealistic version of myself and fantasize about her 24/7, and that's the only way I'm gonna get what I want. Granted, a lot of things that I did this semester, like I'm like kind of like thinking in terms of my career, like things that I did, call them extracurriculars if you will, but not all of them worked out. Some of them did. Like, honestly, I'm in a place where I'm thinking, like, a lot of things that did work out, like, I just wanted so bad that I wouldn't let anything stop me from getting them. And I am at a place right now where I believe that if something didn't work out for me, it just wasn't for me, and I make peace with it and I move on. But then I know that when something does work out for me, it's for me. Like, it's for me, and if the reason it doesn't work out, or I don't get it, or I screw it up, is because it's me. It's because of me, because the universe literally put that in my path and I still screwed it up. So I constantly have that thing in my head where I'm like, say I'm in the process of getting something and like I'm almost there and then I screw it up or I don't get it. It's like, shit, like, so what happened? What's wrong? Why did that happen? And it's kind of up to you to gauge whether it's the universe telling you it's not for you or you just screwing that up. Sorry, my camera died. Oh, wow. Guys, I just got my ear pierced and my hair keeps getting stuck in it. Okay. The other thing I wanted to mention, because in the beginning of the episode, I did say that sometimes a person that you want to become changes from time to time. It's a very normal thing because what you want changes and your life changes and, the circumstance and context and all of these things change. From time to time, look back at the person that you've created and think, am I still happy with this version of myself that I've created? And would I be happy if I was this person right now, considering what I want? And if it's not, then it's time to grab another piece of paper and rewrite that person or erase some things, cross out some things, burn some things on fire. Like, you just do what you need to do because the most important thing, I feel like in the grand scheme of things, is how you perceive what's around you. And so the only way for you to change that is the only thing that you can change to change that is yourself. Just do what you need to do. Slowly, whatever it is, change the path or move it over a little or completely destroy it and build a new one to basically just become the person that you want to become. And I don't think it's that kind of like crazy of a concept either, right? But I think a lot of things that I've done to get here are kind of insane, like my vision board. I think my mindset right now is just do whatever you need to do. It's working out as long as you're not hurting anybody else. It takes time, but it'll work out. It won't be the end of the world if something fails. It just means you found a way that doesn't work, and that's still progress. Be consistent. If you've ever read Atomic Habits, the one thing that I took from that book was 1% better every day. That's also on my vision board. and it's something that I've really like actually been sticking to recently, is just every week I try to do a new thing. Not a new thing, but something that I want to kind of attach to my character, and making it a habit, like especially waking up on time, sleeping at a reasonable time, making my bed. Ever since the beginning of the semester, I have made my bed every single day since when I wake up. Because I feel like, especially for me, when you live in a dorm, your bed is half of your room. So if that's messy, then the whole room looks messy, and then my mind is, and it's like a mess. And so making my bed is one thing. And the thing is, even this like 1% better every day thing, the 1%, it doesn't have to be a huge thing. Like I'm not like, hitting these huge goals every day and then doing that shit over and over again. Like that's like, we're human. And so when I set these goals, I make sure they're actually within my scope of ability, I guess. Like if I can't make my bed, I have a huge different problem that I need to focus on. That's one thing I do every single day. What's another thing I do like weekly? Clean my room, clean my desk. I've recently been, every time I wash my clothes, I iron my jeans because they are always so wrinkly when they come out of these freak ass dorm dryers. And so I've been making it a point to make time on Sunday nights or Monday nights to just iron them, so I like look good when I wear them. You're not worried about like, oh shit, like my jeans are wrinkly. Like just like, it's like small shit like that where I'm like, why did I used to do this to myself last semester? It just used to make me more stressed out, and like it was so dumb. I also am trying to learn how to take care of my hair a little bit more, which is why I'm irritated today, because it looked good this morning, but now it's, trying to take better care of my skin. Academically, I have to say that, I've been studying every day. I've really found what works for me, and I really, really hone in on that. And I cut out all the distractions, because I think people also do useless studying. Like, I don't want to call it performative, because some people do actually think that they're making a difference in their learning, but like they're actually not, and they subconsciously know that. I feel like really sitting down and being like, okay, I looked over notes and I looked at the slides, and that's when I'm done studying. But it's like, no, are you done studying though? Like, if that works, it works for you. If you're naturally intelligent, you probably don't have to do more. But if you're someone that genuinely struggles and the only thing you're doing is the bare minimum, that's on you at the end of the day. Like, I genuinely don't think anyone is that, I don't want to say stupid, but like, I genuinely don't think anyone doesn't have the mental capability to understand a subject. I don't think so, especially in an age where everything is so accessible to us. It's you. At the end of the day, like, you have to be the one to do that. And this, even in the context of this episode, you have to be the one to decide who you're going to be. You have to be the one to decide what your life is going to look like, what you want it to look like. And it's literally all in your control, which is probably the best thing ever, because you can tailor it to how you want to be. Like, no one else is going to decide that for you. And I have to say, everything that I've been doing has kind of, really made me a better person. And I've learned how to actually prioritize what I want. And I've been able to schedule like self-care days, after like periods of like intense studying. And it's made me just like feel like I actually have my life together, and that I'm like mentally and physically becoming an adult, and it's just really fulfilling. But it took time. Growth is not always upwards. It can only be growth if there's downwards and upwards. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this made a difference for you. So I guess I'll see you next time.